companies, so much so that in some cases the
Now
subsidy
come
pays
back.
for the entire car. They just want to
Hands
flood the
up
world
or
with
he
these things. But
dies.
let's get past all that. I've done videos about that. We all know about the 0 mile second-hand used cars so that they can get around loopholes and dump this
I have
stuff
a
into
lightsaber.
developing countries and stuff. But what happens is when you've got these fancy Chinese EVs and they have a problem, like let's say fancy because everyone thinks they're fancy. Let's say the self-driving fails, and it crashes. Yeah, the airbags don't go off, or it catches fire, or whatever. Okay, lots of problems with these things. Okay, when it does
Shit
fail,
quality.
they're
Sorry for
legitimately
the language, but they're bad.
yeah. So when you get a fancy Chinese EV and something goes wrong, like for instance, look,
I,
this one has had an
I,
accident, and
I,
it could be anything. It could be like a control arm failed. It could be a wheel came off. It doesn't matter, but it's had an accident.
Let's ask the audience.
Yeah.
If they notice.
What do you see about this?
I want to actually read the chat, and if you're not live, put down your comments. See if you can guess before we.
Yeah. What do you see that's weird about this particular thing? There's a guy there. He's cleaning up.
I got bigger. I
It's
did it.
weird.
I mean, number one, it's got a car cover on it.
Yeah.
By the way, not a fire blanket.
Okay, the first
Yeah.
big amount of comments say he has a mop.
Okay, sure. Yeah, he's popping things up. Okay, number one, that's not a fire blanket.
Success.
Somebody figured it out. That is a car cover, and you can see because it's got the cutout for the side mirrors. That's
Ralph.
just a car cover.
Ralph Taylor, good job.
Yeah, they're getting it.
Timid View, good job.
Okay, let's tell them. Look at the wheels. Can you see the wheels? You know that on old cars, most cars anyway, the brand of the car is on the center of the wheels.
Yeah, like Honda.
Like a Honda will have a little H, or a Mazda will have an M, or whatever. They have taken tape and stuck the tape over the logo so that people cannot tell what brand this car is.
Now, what's interesting about that is obviously a brand trying to save their face. They don't
Yes.
want the world to see that they're having these failures that will hurt their business,
They
right?
don't want local Chinese people seeing it because then they won't want to buy that car.
These EV companies are mafias, by the way.
Yes.
But hear me out for a second. They react is when you point this out, either the EV companies or the Chinese government will send out bot hordes onto X, onto YouTube comments and stuff, and they'll say they're just either covering up an accident because they don't want to show injured people, or these are fire blankets to make sure that the fire, doesn't spread. So this is help to put out the fire and stuff. And then people go, oh, sorry, I misunderstood.
It's not a fire blanket. There are no people in that car. There are no injuries. And also, you don't see this with any other kind of car.
I think the biggest tell is the wheels.
Yes. To tape over.
So if there's a fire and you're covering up injured bodies in the car, why do you cover up the brand on the wheel?
Yeah, take a look. Completely.
And the Chinese people started picking up on this in China.
Yes.
Reporting.
See, it says the wheels below are also labeled, but that means yes.
有些汽车品牌不解决问题，
This is I never expected this car to be covered with cloth.
Okay, this one is that stupid knockoff Porsche that they have.
They got all like the chills to go.
Yeah.
Forgot about.
This is a whatever. Now, take a look.
Yep,
They're covering the car. There's other cars involved. None of those are being
2,
covered.
3, 4,
It's so that people
5,
cannot
6,
see what the brand
7,
is, so that
8,
people cannot
9,
see which
10.
car is failed.
How? I mean, is this not? This matches everything we've been covering this episode.
Yes.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, take a look. This car is like stuck on the side of the road because of failure.
Goodest boy
The
ever.
wheel fell. Yeah, you see that one? I mean, they even got a cutout for the indicator light, the warning light. It's insane. They just cover it up. Yeah. See? They also took the thing down. But
Chinese
anyway,
people are figuring this out.
yeah, of course, Chinese people are not stupid. They're looking at this and they're like, why is this?
Yeah.
Because it's only happening with these fancy Chinese EVs. It's not happening with Teslas. By the way, also an EV. So if you were thinking fire blanket or something, why don't they stick a cover over a Tesla when it has an accident? Why are they not putting tape over the Tesla badges? It's only happening with Chinese EVs. It's not happening with normal everyday cars like a VW or anything that crashes there. No, only with the Chinese fancy EVs, especially the ones that they're pumping so hard with propaganda.
1984 stuff.
Yes, the stuff that they're like got ISO speed sitting in
Yeah.
whatever. Those ones specifically, they're quickly like, oh crap, it's crashed. Because, you know, when those things crash, it notifies the manufacturer, and they immediately send out a team to like cover up the badges and everything.
Yo,
So dystopian.
It's insane, and I've seen lots of that footage. This is just a tiny montage. I got a lot. We'll show it in the future again because it's a common practice. Anyway,
So
let's
this is
move on
the
to
big,
the
this is the big one.
yeah.
You guys might have heard a little bit about this. Over 200 children are being treated with lead poisoning in China.
What you're looking at in this picture, by the way, see those like corn-looking things? It's not corn. It's pastry that's been like stamped. Yeah, that was made using lead-based.
Bad.
Yeah, so
Dang.
China, school chefs in China use inedible paints full of lead to decorate their food, right? It's very interesting because if there's like a child food scandal thing in China,
260.
the public goes wild, right? 'Cause
260.
they're like, holy crap, that could have been my kid. That's
Yeah.
just like the melamine milk powder, right?
Correct.
So what's interesting is, let's tell this little story here. You might have heard on the news about the
His
whole
arms
like
are
lead
nice,
paint,
bro.
they put it in your closet there. Yeah.
I know why
This
he's
kid's
got
friend, right?
This is a private kindergarten.
Oh,
They're expensive.
look at all his
Yeah,
actual
what's
little
interesting
mess.
is that this particular kindergarten, where this happened with over 200 kids with lead poisoning, right? It turns out, so this is probably what you haven't heard on the news, was built on a heavy metal
He
dump
gotta
facility,
remove that.
where a heavy metal
Factory like in
factory would
2005, I believe, they
Yeah.
shut it down, but that's where they used to dump their like excess heavy metal waste.
yes, so they plopped down the kindergarten.
Good place.
So that's another variable.
It's like that what was that movie where they built it on a graveyard, like the, you know, and then it was like ghosts came. It's kind of
Yes.
like that type of idea.
So what's interesting about this is that's another variable, right? So here, let's look at some of the details here. So this is devastating for everyone. The parents are freaking out, obviously. It's well warranted, right? You know, lead poisoning leads to
This is-
developmental issues.
This, by the way, is actual surveillance footage from within the kitchen of them preparing it with the lead-based paint.
Yes.
Here's the part that's really, you can see the stuff they bought. Here's the part that's quite telling, is the kids got sick.
Yeah.
And when they found out the kids got sick, the principal told them to hide the paint.
Yes.
Okay, and on the paint, you know, pigment, whatever it is, it said inedible, not for consumption, on the paint packets themselves. It's written there in Chinese. So I guess what happened was the kids got sick, so they're like, oh, what could be causing this? They go in the kitchen, they're like, oh, have you been, you know, I told you to buy this, but let's look at it. It says like not edible, so they hid it.
Right.
So when the police went in, they actually found that they found the paint,
Yes.
but it had been hidden by the kindergarten staff.
Correct. So when they tested the food that was made with said paint, the food was found to have 2,000 times the lead, national safety limit of lead, right? But what was interesting is that despite this, right, parents obviously got very upset. Parents got very upset, and they took their kids in to get blood tests, right, to the local hospital.
Yeah.
Obviously, due to the corruption of China, somebody phoned ahead. And what happened was when they went in to check the blood levels, right?
Yeah.
In these kids who all got sick from this lead poisoning, apparently their blood levels weren't so bad, right? Yet still, they were super, super sick,
Yeah.
right? So what happened was the parents started to pick up on it. They go, I'm gonna take my kid out of the province, out of Gansu province,
Yes.
and I'm gonna go get a lead test somewhere else that's not privy to what's happening. Like they're smart. Turns out their lead level was off the charts.
Yeah, they took them to Xi'an, to a hospital in Xi'an. All the children went there, and then all of a sudden their blood lead level was much higher.
Yes.
And in fact, the parents were concerned that officials from their hometown were going to come to Xi'an and try to, you know, interfere with the results and interfere with the children. It's a big scandal.
It's sinister. Like the thumbnail says, China is sick. There's something sick happening here. Because it's better to cover things up than to deal with it. And this is why you don't do any deals or business with China.
Yeah.
Because China is trying to hurt not only its own people, but everyone.
Yeah.
Just children, for profit, for face, for development, to win, right? Some cosmic battle. What's interesting though is when they went to these hospitals, right? When they went to these hospitals, right?
Yeah.
Outside of the area that's been tipped off.
Yeah.
Their blood lead level is 10 to 20 times the amount of lead in their blood compared to the local hospital.
Yeah, that's what was reported.
10 to 20 times, right? Turns out, also, the hospitals weren't releasing the children back to their parents. They started to hold them ransom because they didn't want them to leave the hospital to go like spread this news.
Yeah, they wanted to leave the hospital, go somewhere else, and get a higher test result.
Yes, absolutely insane. So here's the issue. This is the big development. Okay. It turns out this is some grassroots stuff. People spreading this years ago. But obviously, it's a big upset here. As people started to go, wait a minute, this was actually a dumping ground, right, for heavy metal stuff.
Yes.
So what happened was people started to go test their own blood.
Yes.
People in this area, and they're coming up with high lead levels as well. If they
Not
go
as high, but
it's not
still
as high, yeah, but still way higher than it should be.
Yes.
These adults people are picking up on this. So this is actually turning out to be not just like a lead paint scandal, because obviously they're eating so much lead in desserts, right?
Mhm.
But it's also probably a local issue to where there's heavy metals and lead in the soil, water, and everything else that's contaminating people. And this is par for the course of time. There's whole areas that fall prey to cancer. For example, we went to a cancer village in Yunnan.
Yeah.
The local well there that people drink out of was poisoning people, and everyone was getting cancer, right?
Yep.
Government shut it all down. They won't let anyone talk about it.